Hi guys, so this is GBP USD. I actually inverted my charts because I prefer seeing markets in a sell position because it allows me to see channels quicker and much more. I don't know. It makes sense to me in this in a down position, but the actual view is to the upside. But I will show it to you in the downside. Also, just going back to here, this is the 1 minute, by the way, if you're wondering. Initially, I think last night there were some people waiting for GBP USD to sell in a community I'm in where I'm a mod or admin or whatever. So I basically called a sell when market was around here. And I said, I think people waiting for GBP USD, it's about to sell. You might want to have a look at the market. But someone counteracted my sell. They said they don't think it's going to sell. I said, okay, you might be right. Let's wait and see. Of course, the market did sell. I took a picture when I called that trade, which is what I'm going to show you now. And I had this area highlighted as potential support zone where, one might want to exit the trade and see what market is doing if there might be a potential reversal occurring. Now, going back to the pictures that I took. So this is the first picture I took. If you can see this is when I called the trade, as you can see. Can you see this channel right here in the 5 minutes, right there? Okay. And then I again announced in the group that if they had sold here, like I had called out last night, they could have collected profits here. Now look at the distance market traveled overnight, basically. And while I saw this as well, I could also see there's a potential channel to the upside forming. So anyone who could have taken a trade, if they are able to identify patterns, they would probably know that they should either collect all their profits or at least partial profits to see what market is going to do next. So yeah, and this is it basically. And then I was watching this. The funny thing is I didn't actually take this trade as early as I would have liked because I started watching something I wanted to eat. And I didn't know how long it was going to take to do what it needed to do. Basically, I had just woken up when I saw market doing around this zone. So I wasn't just so with it. I just took my screenshot, went to make me something to drink, look out my balcony at the sea. And market ended up doing this. If I go to the 1 minute, which when I see a potential channel or pattern that might play out, I go to the 1 minute for an early entry. So I saw this happening. If I had seen this on time, what I do is I would enter two positions because there's no guarantee that market will break out this area. Like I said, this chart is inversed. There's no guarantee market will break out this area. So what I usually do is I enter, at least two positions, right? Now, some people would have gotten in here, right? But because I'm able to actually recognize what this pattern is doing, I would have basically got in here slightly earlier and then wrote it down. And then when market hit this trend line, I would have closed one position and I called that my buffer trade. And then while I entered here, I would now set my other position either in break even, which would be here, or in stop loss, maybe somewhere above here, or even in minor profit. It depends on you, but I do that so that if I set it in stop loss, if market doesn't break this channel and goes back up, right, and it closes me in negative stop loss, the buffer trade that I took, the pips that I caught, would cover that minor loss that I just got from this trade, right? So that's what I do. But if I set it at break even, then I wouldn't have lost any pips, but I just wouldn't have gained anything from that trade. And if I set it minor profit, then obviously it's still minor anyway. But yeah, this is how I try and like cover myself to be able to um, have a negative stop loss if I want it and still be okay with my negative stop loss. Because most of my trades, when I get in pretty early in the 1 minute, market usually works in my favor at least for a while and then either continues on or reverses on me. And if it does, and then what I would do is collect partial profit and very early and then see what the final trade does and ride with that if it works in my favor. If it doesn't work in my favor, I still didn't lose money because my buffer trade covers me either way. So I hope that makes sense to you. Honestly, guys, like figuring out how to make your entry on the 1 minute, like go from the 4 hour to the 1 hour, spot a breakdown or breakup channel in the 4 hour, the 1 hour, then go to the 5 minutes and the 1 minute, and then look for the position. If you spot a sell channel, it's good to spot it when it's about to happen in a certain zone, and when it does happen, you know, and then so that you can go in a smaller zone, smaller time frame, the 1 minute, to now spot the break out like here, this one. So obviously, my theory is this will continue on, but nothing is guaranteed with markets. So I just basically try and play as safe as possible. The only thing I know is that I managed to find really good entries in the 1 minute, so much so that market always gives me some pips from the start, right? And then either reverses on me or continues on me. But if it reverses on me, there's some pips that I caught, guys, that covers me. So I call it my buffer trade. So this is how I trade basically. So let me go to the 5 minutes and invert the chart to the right way that it should be, which is to the upside. So I'm expecting market to get here. Let me delete this because this was from the sell downside. So yep. So I'm expecting further upside, guys. But we shall see if it fully plays out, because essentially some people are supposedly waiting for a bigger downside for GBP USD. Whether that will happen any this week or even today, I don't know. But at the moment, this channel is, you know, indicating some upside to come. And if I had paid attention when I had woken up properly, I could have gotten in at my very much ideal entry on the 1 minute, guys. So I hope you've been able to understand my method of getting in on a trade. You see, this is a zone. When I see market in this zone, if I was paying attention, then I would have now looked in the 1 minute for how to now get in, you know. So don't just look at the 1 minute anyhow. It's best to look at the 1 minute at certain zones. So a lot of things have to match up first. Well, not a lot, but a few things have to match up first. Yes, and you'll get a good trade. Like obviously this was a channel, right? But I could see at first I was hoping this would do a double top, to be honest. But sometimes I know market does go past the double top either way. So if you know about technical analysis, if you also know about Falcon trading, you would have known that this line should be connected. But that's a whole different ball game. That's basically what really improved my understanding of how to make a great entry on my trades. Honestly, guys, yeah. Just if you're interested, look up Falcon FX strategy. It's really good. Like I already knew stuff about trading, but my entries have been refined from learning Falcon.